In Jojolion Chapter 21, Yasuo finds a newspaper from 1901 through Paisley Park when looking up Johnny Joestar after seeing Joshu's phone's location at the Joestar Jizo. Later in Chapter 22, Yasuo physically has this newspaper and reads that a baby washed up on the beach in Morio in the same month as Johnny dying. After this, Tsurugi drags her down into his room through a hole. In Chapter 23, it's shown that Tsurugi took the newspaper before he gives it back to Yasuo. In Chapter 83, there's a scene in the Higashikata mansion. Tsurugi is next to Hato. Joshu pulls a prank on Hato. Daya asks Tsurugi to call Norisuke into the main room. Tsurugi has an inner monologue about stance and stands going out of control. A family photo is shown identical to one shown in the previous chapter, except lacking Kyo. This is insanely out of place. In Norisuke's room, Norisuke is in a body bag. Tsurugi starts dragging it, and one of his origami frogs pop up. The time until the Rokakaka harvest is shown, only 13 minutes. This is shown to be a flash forward from 7 days in the future. My immediate assumption seeing Tsurugi's origami frog in this bit is that he is using his stand to give an illusion to the family that Norisuke is actually alive. Anyway, the weird Tsurugi gate thing happens in the present. The Wonder of You starts. Way later, in the start of Chapter 90, there's a shot of the Higashikata household. There are two panels showing the weather forecast, presumably on the TV. The weather is partially cloudy from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., rainy from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., and there's heavy rain at 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. At the same time, Norisuke reads a newspaper showing Josuke and Rai as suspects for murder. He freaks out, asking everyone if they've seen Josuke, and it immediately cuts to a showing of Ojiro and Mako's death on a TV. This TV is located outside some shop near where Josuke and Rai currently are. Rai says he got a newspaper from the convenience store, which Josuke reads later in the chapter. He notices the report of Ojiro's death. It's important that he saw it on the newspaper and not on the TV from earlier. Josuke and Rai fight the head doctor's stand. It starts raining. Josuke throws himself into the rain and gets sent to the hospital. Later in Chapter 90, a conversation between Toru and Yasuo is shown. Toru talks about electromagnetic induction, which I can only interpret as build-up for the next evolution or use of Paisley Park. Yasuo gets a notification from her phone from Paisley Park, showing footage of Rai at a convenience store, which Yasuo says happened a few minutes ago. Toru shows a picture of the head doctor to Yasuo, and it starts raining, presumably connecting the time between the two events. There are 48 hours until the harvest. Skip to Chapter 91, Toru drives Yasuo to the Higashikata estate. A shot of Tsurugi freaking out over the death of Ojiro and Mako on the newspaper is shown. Tsurugi starts crying, his face starts melting. He goes to the bathroom. Mitsuba sees the newspaper, freaks out over Mako dying. Mitsuba notices weird coincidences happening. Immediately before she's able to figure anything out, the head doctor is shown outside in the rain. Mitsuba gets hit by things. Tsurugi walks in the room. A water droplet goes through Tsurugi's face, like the rain went through Josuke and Rai, and his face turns to origami. After this, Mitsuba looks outside, and the head doctor is no longer there. A shot of Josuke at the hospital is shown. Josuke meets Holly. Holly describes the head doctor's stand, says his true form cannot be grasped, says he has to be made to chase after him. Cut to next chapter. Josuke sends a package to a presumably weird location, according to the delivery man. Josuke says he has to be made to chase after the head doctor again. The weird location is obviously the park where Dolomite is, and being made to chase after means being turned into a blue Hawaii zombie. I can't see it being anything else. Yasuo is shown at the Higashikata estate. It's presumably daytime. Yasuo gets thrown in the toilet. It says there's 3 hours and 24 minutes until the harvest. This implies that it's been 2 days since Toru started driving Yasuo. What the hell happened in that time frame? Continuing with the chapter, the head doctor shows up. Jobin can't see him for some reason. Mitsuo betrays Yasuo and closes the toilet lid. Yasuo falls, her arm gets chopped off, the head doctor leaves. Mitsuba tries to flush the toilet with Awakening 3 leaves for some reason. A drop from the ceiling falls on her hand, her vector goes in the direction of the new Lokakaka. Everyone in the house sees it, and that's where Jojolion ends as of right now. So there are a few key things we can take away from these events happening. The first thing I would like to mention is the newspapers. Every time after someone reads something in a newspaper, something crazy happens or their mental state changes. Like, after Yasuo reads the newspaper in chapter 21-22, Tsurugi immediately takes her. Tsurugi takes the newspaper for himself. When Norisuke reads the newspaper, he is alarmed, and I think the reason that Norisuke was shown reading the newspaper in that part was to highlight the newspaper and what it does to Josuke and Rai, and later on Mitsuba and Tsurugi. Josuke and Rai, after reading the newspaper, Josuke says, "Oh, we have to chase after the head doctor," or something like that. Like his next line after reading the newspaper is, "Oh yeah, we have to find him." And then the head doctor's stand immediately shows up because he's in pursuit of the head doctor. When Tsurugi reads the newspaper and sees Ojiro and Mako, he thinks, "Oh, did I do this?" And then his face starts melting. He goes to the bathroom. His origami starts appearing. When Mitsuba reads it, she sees the head doctor and cuts her finger. So what I think is, since Jobin can't see the head doctor, I think the newspaper or something here has some kind of significance to the head doctor's stand or some other stand. I don't know what it is. Something else that's interesting is Yasuo taking 2 days to reach the Higashikata estate. Like it took her that long to get there, which is weird, but I can see it as some kind of error, whatever. About Toru, I think the head doctor is related to him. I think, like, he asks, "Why are you looking for the head doctor? Where are you going?" And I think the head doctor can see what Toru is seeing, and the head doctor was at the Higashikata estate because Yasuo was going there, because when it's raining is when Mitsuba sees the head doctor, which is exactly when Toru and Yasuo are having the conversation, which is when Yasuo would be telling Toru to take her to the Higashikata estate, and the head doctor would be checking it out on behalf of, hearing that information from Toru. Something else that's interesting is Rina, Johnny's wife, dies apparently, or like the disease she gets apparently turns her skin into origami. What I think is the head doctor's stand is not just limited to newspapers. It's about like history and rewriting history. This is how you tie like Kyo into this. I think Kyo is being deleted from history, and that whatever is making Tsurugi turn into origami is making every single Higashikata before him also turn into origami. I think that Tsurugi is the root cause of this disease without knowing it. Because he learned about it from a young age, he thought it would happen to him, but he was the one responsible for it happening to him and everyone before him. About the bite marks at the start of Jojolion, I have no idea what they mean. I think they might not get mentioned again. Also, Carrera, I don't know if she will get mentioned again. I don't think so, but we have to see, I guess, because like there's a lot of mysteries from the start of part 8. There's that long guy with the hair that Josuke says he recognizes. I guess that could be like a rock human or something, like an early design of a rock human. There's the girl from Ojiro's first arc. Why did Ojiro make Kira look like a kidnapper or something? Because like he thought Kira would be there himself. Like it would make no sense for him to say Kira himself is a kidnapper to Kira himself. What else? I don't really think Kato is that much of a big deal. Like she's a Jobin. Like Jobin's done more than her, I think. I think that she's just kind of like motivation or inspiration or something. I don't think she's that much of an actor in this.